Well, I want to turn now to another international story. Benny Gantz has rejected Benjamin Netanyahu's call to join him to form a unity government, saying that he alone should be Israel's next prime minister. Gantz said that a coalition led by Netanyahu will not work for Israel. A repeat election was called this week after current Prime Minister Netanyahu failed to form a coalition government earlier this year. Gantz was Netanyahu's biggest challenger in the election. His moderate blue and white party holds a two-seat advantage over Netanyahu's right-wing Likud party. Well, the two political rivals attended a state memorial service for late former Israeli President Shimon Peres. This was on Thursday. They shook hands in their first public encounter since the election. It will soon be up to Israel's current president to decide the next prime minister. The decision is expected in the coming days. Well, Dr. Ehud Eiran joins me now from Stanford, California. He's a senior lecturer at the School of Political Sciences and also at the University of Haifa in Israel. Thank you very much for joining us. So I want to get your sense. What do you make of this deadlocked Israeli election result?
On the face of it, it looks deadlocked, Rina. But looking a bit deeper, I think there is still a great chance for a national unity government. That's the first immediate implication. Second is that Netanyahu's image as King Bibi, the ultimate politician, is cracked a bit because his party did not come on top.
You know, is Netanyahu's proposal then, you say he's a little bit cracked at this point, is his proposal to form a unity government a last-ditch effort for him to sort of retain some form of power, and is it realistic?
It is indeed. I mean, he's a very assertive politician who survived for 13 years as prime minister, although not in one sweep. And he fights not only for his political life, but for life as a free person, because by October he'll probably be indicted, and he feels that being prime minister will allow him to deflect or deal better with the legal challenges.
So at this point, forming some sort of a unity government, it seems like Gantz has sort of rejected that doing it with Netanyahu. Where do you see this going? I mean, do you see the potential of a third election in Israel?
I still think a national unity government is possible. For example, Likud may decide to depose Netanyahu, or a security development might provide a ladder for Gantz to go to a government with Netanyahu, which in closed conversations in the summer he did not rule out, contrary to what he's saying now. If this fails, there is still a possibility indeed for a third election within a year. Again, unprecedented in Israeli politics. Yeah,
it certainly is unprecedented. We know, you mentioned as well, Benjamin Netanyahu facing possible criminal charges for corruption. What do you think the future looks like for him if for some reason he's not part of the new government?
He'll probably stand trial, and from what I hear from colleagues in the legal profession, there is a big chance he'll be found guilty. So he may end up in jail. There was some conversation about leaving politics in return for a waiving of some of the allegations. But I think we are towards the end of the era of this political magician.
Political magician. Netanyahu has campaigned with his close ties to President Trump. We know in recent days President Trump has appeared to distance himself a bit from the prime minister, and he said this, and I'm quoting here, "Our relations are with Israel." Do you think that Netanyahu touting his relationship with President Trump helped or hurt him in this election cycle?
It probably helped him. Trump is very popular in Israel. He took some decisions that are perceived by the Israeli public as supporting Israeli positions, and it was a big theme in Netanyahu's elections. Among the pundits, maybe he lost some points, but I think for the public it worked quite well.
And I know that you've been following Iran very closely. You're well versed on this topic. I want to ask you about the tensions between the U.S. and Iran recently after Washington accused Tehran of being behind the Saudi oil attacks. Where do you see this headed? Do you think the U.S. will take military action? And where does Israel stand?
So the U.S. got engaged in the last 15 years or close to 20 years in two massive operations in the Middle East. I don't think anyone has an appetite for another war. Israel, on the other hand, sees Iran as probably its greatest threat, but was very hesitant to take military action. So if I have to bet from all these multiple variables, it seems the likelihood of another deal is still on the table, and I think it's still a possible outcome.
All right, Dr. Ehud Eiran, thank you very much for your analysis.
Thank you.